Engineering from India, from Vellore, VIT.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the same year, I came here to do MSc in additive manufacturing and 3D printing. And in that course, we had a huge amount of dedicated time for lab work, for methodology and the dissertation. And now it all has been terminated. And everything is focused on literature review or either presentation. But the main aim of the whole course is somewhere at the lowest point now, because we are not able to access to the labs. We are doing some simulation works. So they are forcing us to do in that area. And in the long term, I want to do an internship or any full-time work to grow my interest, because if I don't do anything at this period, so I have two options. Either I can go for PhD or I can go for internship opportunities. But right now, no companies are accepting my application, or there is not that much openings here in UK. So this is the current scenario.
You mean the job situation is not good right now? Is that what you're saying?
No. So first of all, in UK.
Let me ask you: is there a reason why you went to UK to do your masters? Why not to some other places?
Yeah. So first reason was there was no dedicated course for additive manufacturing in US. So our center, the CFAM, is quite famous in this field, and they offer a dedicated course, 1-year course, for any student from any background. So this one is, and another reason.
So the course is MSc Additive Manufacturing and 3D Printing.
Yeah, and in US, I look for universities, and they have you have to do masters in mechanical, but they will taught to 3D printing maybe in the last module or in the last few sections. It's not dedicated, and same goes for Singapore also. In Singapore, they have the same system. There are a few colleges which are quite famous, and they have the same procedure. Like you just do masters in mechanical, and in the last module we'll cover a few current technologies.
So you want to do a focused masters in additive.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so here they tailored the whole course. They gave an introduction in every field, like metal, plastic, in every field, and after that they gave you an option to boil down to what you are more interested in.
So let me ask you. Forget about this COVID situation. The way this program is designed, there is a lot of practical, like you get a lot of hands-on practical. Yeah. But because of COVID, you are not able to do it now.
Exactly. So initially, we are introduced into a lot of project works. They sanctioned a certain amount of fund for the projects, and everything was going good. And in this semester, we are about to do a lot of lab work. We had a methodology session. We have a full lab access for dissertation, and in fact, we gave a huge lot of money for the lab work. But now they are simply trying to mitigate in the way that this situation is a pandemic, and we can't do anything. We can't refund. We can't do anything. Just focus on literature review. Somewhere it seems like they are trying to anyhow just let us go, just pass and go. We don't want to mess with you. And even 2 days back, we got an email from the UK petition that what should be the situation of the current student, and they clearly mentioned that first of all, no extension in visa. Second, your salary will be reduced due to the current situation.
You are like what?
If you are somewhere around 30K. Now you'll be going to 22K.
No. I didn't hear you. What you're saying? What they said?
They'll reduce your salary. They'll reduce the amount of graduate salary, like entry-level salary. So, for example, before this COVID situation, it was around £20,000 or £22,000 for an entry-level graduate student after post-graduation.
You mean, are you talking about once you graduate, you get a job? You're talking about the job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that petition, they cleared 2 things, that no extension in visa, and one thing that the companies might pay you less at this moment. They have that flexibility to pay you less.
But for that, you have to find a job first, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for that, even the companies are restricting the whole situation, and somewhere they are always coming up with an excuse that no job in this moment. Kindly stay in contact for other future opportunities. But because I'm applying for a lot of time, and I can feel at this moment that there is no lead at this moment. Like if I'm contacting you, you're giving me a hope that okay, I will mail back you. But from others, they're not mailing back, or they're simply avoiding, or they say you are not up to the requirement. We need more experience.
But let me ask you this question: when you came over here, did you pay for your education, or you got a scholarship?
No, I paid for education. I was very interested, and I said I'm going to pay no matter what, because I'm very dedicated to this field.
Yeah, but let me ask you another question. So it's now my time to ask you a question, okay? I understand your situation. So you took a loan, but when you took a loan, what was your idea behind it? How I'm going to pay that back? What was your thinking?
Yeah. So the first thing came to my mind was job, obviously.
Okay.
And even I got a job
UK.
also at
in
starting.
UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the starting, they offered me job.
Okay.
But again, they cancelled because of my visa.
Right.
They're not going to sponsor my visa. So from that time, I was trying to hit the big companies because they always have visas and sponsorship. And suddenly this whole situation came up.
Right.
So I'm currently at a...
Right. Another question I have: how much time you have to stay in UK before you go back?
Till March. Or maybe June, because the UK government is extending up to 1 month. So March or June, that's it.
Of next year?
Yeah.
Next year?
Yeah, 2021. So after graduation, 6 months.
Okay. So when are you graduating?
September, first week.
September.
Yeah.
So you have time. It's not that bad, right?
Yeah.
But I think, let me ask you another question. For your daily thing, how you manage your expenses? You work somewhere or what?
Yeah. Okay. I go for part-time.
Okay. Understand now. So let me give you some little bit of my background. So I used to work for Rolls-Royce. So I used to come to Derby quite a lot. Okay. So I've known that area, and I know people. One of my actually friend, he was a Korean. He graduated from Nottingham.
Okay.
So I know that area very well, and I know why that area is going to be in trouble because of jobs, and especially Rolls-Royce, how many people they have fired, So yeah. I know the situation. I understand that very well now. Okay. And I used to be come to Derby quite a lot, and we had some projects actually at Nottingham, at Loughborough.
Okay.
Yeah. So Loughborough, we had some projects. There is a professor actually there. His name is he did his PhD at Carnegie Mellon. He was a senior of my friend. What is his name? I forgot. But if I'm not wrong, he was from West Bengal. I think he did his PhD bachelor's from IIT Kharagpur, if I'm not wrong. But anyway,
I think the whole team is working with our department, the Rolls-Royce. And all this in CE.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, as I told you, right? We had some project with Loughborough, with Nottingham, and Derby is very Rolls-Royce is very heavily involved with Nottingham, at Loughborough, and there's another university, Cranfield University. Yeah. So because Cranfield has a very good aerospace department, right? So I worked with some professor there at that time. Okay, so I know what you're talking about. I know that situation, and it's not a good situation, especially Derby. For Derby, Rolls-Royce is a big employer.
Yeah.
And they said they are already cutting. I don't know how many jobs, so that's not good for them.
I'm kind of staying in Nottingham.
Yeah, I know you are in Nottingham, but as I said, one of the big employers in Derby and Nottingham area is Rolls-Royce. They are a very big employer, and if they are not hiring but firing people, that is a big trouble.
Exactly.
Right. So, okay. So let me go through your questions, and let me give you some advice. So let me ask you this one. I think you have time where you can make some good decision before you go back India. Okay. Let me ask you, and I think that I don't know much about how the situation is going to play in UK, but in US we are expecting after December the situation is going to be fine, and in general the manufacturing area is gonna improve much better. especially 3D printing and all that, because we have to do manufacturing, right? We can't stop people and where they can't work and things like that. So people are opening here. I don't know much about UK. What's the government works totally different way there, but what is your plan B? Let's say if you're not able to find a job, what are you going to do?
I have to go back to India and I have to join my father's business because right at the moment my father said that you might go for PhD, you can go for, but the current situation is not that good. The whole business is hampered, the loan is on there, so I have to somehow.
So your father's business is also affected. Is that what you're saying?
Heavily affected.
What type of business here?
The construction business. Okay. So right now they're all lost.
Do you? I mean, honestly, if I was you and my father was telling me I will go back because there is a security there, but do you want to go or you want to work here? That's your option.
So I started in this field much long back, like during my second year, and along with my professor, we built an antenna, 3D printed antenna with IIT Madras and everything. I was very much enthusiastic. So I think this is the moment, like if I don't continue at this moment, I can never come back.
No, but why you think that is so important? Is it just your interest, or you don't want to do the work, or you don't want to continue the work which your family business? What is the reason?
Interest.
But do you know how long you can keep that interest?
I'm very much motivated in this new field because I was connected to this.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. What is your long-term plan? I mean, working for a company in a UK cannot be a long-term plan, right? Yeah. So what is your long-term plan? What you're thinking, like, let's say 10 years down the road, what you would like to see yourself to do?
I want to get involved into metal game, like metal aid manufacturing and work in propeller or big companies like where we can put this, we use this 3D printing. We can replace those, for example. For example, that I started a project on making marine propellers. So kind of things like innovation things like turbine or metalium. So basically more into this. I want to continue this field, like either in academic way or industry way.
My question to you is, you are sure that you don't want to continue with your father's business? You're sure for that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I was trying to understand. Okay. So you want to, you like this area, you want to build your career in this area, you don't want to do anything with your whatever your father does, that's your first choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And working for a company would be your choice, or you think you would be somewhere down the road, you would like to see if there are opportunities and you can become a professor, or do you want to work in UK, in Europe, but you don't want to go back to India? You said, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be. What's your choices here?
So if the same companies were in India, like if there are so many companies, 3D printing companies in India, I wouldn't mind going back and working there. But currently there are only few companies and it's not that efficient. So if there are 3D printing companies, I will love to go back.
But what I'm saying, let's say if you have an option where you have an offer letter, there's a company in India and they're saying, would you like to join us? And there's a company in UK, what's your preference would be?
To be honest, I would look at the salary who is paying.
Yeah.
Obviously, of the same field, 3D printing. 3D printing, who is offering 3D printing?
But what I'm saying, let's say the salary is comparable, whatever it is. But again, from the location point of view, do you feel you want to settle down in UK or Europe or whatever your choice is, rather than going back to India? Let's say there's a company in Orissa or in Bombay or in Bengal or whatever, and they said, why don't you come here, join us? We will give you a comparable salary, and you have a job here. Would you rather stay here or go back? That's my point.
I would love to go back.
Go back. And another question I have is, do you see yourself working for a university, or you think that you want to work in the industry environment, like as
industry?
Okay.
Industry.
Okay. So let me give you my piece of advice now. I think I got everything which I was looking for you. Okay, so I think Somnath, what you would like to do. So in general, let me tell you, the area of additive manufacturing is amazing. I don't have to explain that to you, and I don't think this is the area that's going to stop. And every company is adopting it, or will be adopting it for future. Doesn't matter. Another thing you also have to understand, this is the area which is the hardcore of manufacturing. This is not the area of I mean, there is a R&D related to that also, but you have to understand this is the heart of operations, manufacturing. So my question to you would be is, yes, you have a degree or master's in the area of additive manufacturing, but what other skill set you have that you would need to be successful in the area of operations or manufacturing? So my advice to you would be is look at those things, especially if you are working if you want to work in an industry setup, not in an academic setup. So academic would be more research, but industry would be specifications, Six Sigma, statistics. You need to know the hardcore of that. So you need to understand where the 3D printing is going, right? There is a lot of question right now whether you can qualify your parts for aerospace applications. How would you qualify? Am I convinced enough? And lot of research that is going on in the area of materials. So how much knowledge you have? So without a knowledge of materials, you can't do anything, right? Do you have enough knowledge on materials? Do you have enough knowledge on processing, which I'm pretty sure you have because that's what your degree is. But do you have enough knowledge to qualify those parts? So that where it comes, like, do you have a knowledge of enough knowledge of statistical tools and things like that? So I would say, and then the other part comes, especially because you are talking about manufacturing. Do you have enough knowledge of supply chain? How to what works on supply chain and so forth? Because if you have all those tools, that would help you to become a very successful, not now but in future, overall in this particular area. Okay, so area is good, no doubt, definitely, and for any company is a good area. That's number one. Number two is, now I'm going to talk about what you can do for this pandemic. So one option is, so that's what I said. What is your option? What is your plan? Your plan A is I'm going to find a job. Plan B is go back to India and join a dad's company. There is nothing in between. So I want you to think about what is there in between I'm missing. What options can I have, that because I want to keep this interest, I don't want to join my dad's company, I still want to work in this area. What can I do? What is that lies in between, right? So that I get enough time and I get enough opportunities. So one of the things that you can do is, again, it's up to you how you able to manage it, because what you need right now is a buffer period, a time, because nothing is working right now. Nobody's hiring, everybody's firing. This is the worst time to graduate. Nobody is going to give you a job. So what you can do? So any time whenever people face with this pandemic, they go back to school. So again, remember my previous conversation with you when I said what skill set you need, right? So what you can do is gain those skill sets. In the meantime, the market gets opened up. Again, that doesn't stop you to apply for jobs. You can still apply, right? Doesn't stop you. But what else you can do so that I'm not wasting my time and I'm preparing myself so that when the market gets opened up, let's say after 6 months, after a year, I'm better equipped, right? So what that would be, think of a possibility. And I said, because I think talking to you looks to me a person who is more of an entrepreneur guy. You have a business mindset because you have seen probably your dad business. You have gone through that process. You have some idea what business looks like. My dad was a teacher. I had no idea what business is, right? But since you grew up that environment, you should have some sort of a feedback. Look for an MBA in supply chain. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. So what that will do is, and especially if you look at MBAs which are specific to manufacturing, and like there could be an MBA in the area of operations, but more focused towards manufacturing. That will help you. That will also help you in after you are, you complete that degree to find you some consulting job in one of the best consulting firms, McKinsey, Bain, Bain company or Deloitte and things like that. Because if you go to some of these companies, a lot of companies do consulting and they need someone who would have the technical background. And as far as the salary is concerned, those are the companies who pay best anywhere. Doesn't matter. And then you are not location specific. So coming back to your point, I would love to go back to India. You can work for a McKinsey firm in Bombay and make as much money as you want. But your skill set is more important for them. And at the same time, you have this background of business and supply chain. So so right now, if you look at 3D printing, I would say the supply chain is the biggest problem. Where to get the powder from? How to qualify the powder for? Uh, uh, which country do you want to work for powder for? There are many new companies nowadays. So let me give you an example. There is a company called Carpenter. If you want to take a look, and if you know that, they are one of the biggest powder supplier of 3D printing. They recently, last year, because they were conventional companies who were doing making alloys. They were conventional company. They make wrought alloys, sheet alloys, and all that, right? But recently they opened up a branch in Alabama, completely new business sector called Carpenter Additive, and you can Google that. So look at Carpenter Additive Manufacturing. It's a completely new business. And so what I'm saying is, companies like Carpenter, companies like GE, companies like Rolls-Royce are investing specifically in these businesses. So as a person who is technically so strong, what skill set you have that you can get these jobs now? Again, don't worry about right now. I'm worried about when it's going to open up, what skill set I'm having. Don't worry about right now, because you can't change situation. I mean, if there is a COVID, there is a COVID, right? What you can do? What I'm going to do? I'm not going to sit and cry, but I will look at the opportunities. The good thing about you is you have chosen an area which is one of the best areas. I think you took a best decision. That is a very important thing, that the first step you have taken. Many times the students go to an area and they say, oh, I'm not so supposed what you do, but I think your area is good, your degree is excellent, but I think you need this extra thing which gonna help you to jump from here to here. Trust me. But you will need that skill. Otherwise, you will keep on working as a process engineer for a small company, and £20,000 is nothing. I mean, what are you going to do with that salary, right? Better go back to India and join your dad's company. Do you understand my point? Don't stop here. Jump. Take another leap. So as I said, you can think of working in a small 3D printing company, sitting in front of a machine and printing something, or you can think of, if I'm gonna get this thing, if I'm gonna get another degree, that's gonna help me to get a job in McKinsey as a lead manufacturing consultant. Here is the thing: if I'm gonna get this degree, then I'm gonna work for supply chain for Rolls-Royce for 3D printing, right? Because as I said, every company, trust me, are gonna open a completely new sector in this business. So again, don't stop here. And the good thing, see, sometimes what happens, whenever there's a pandemic or things like that, you say, oh, why this happened and that happened, but this could be an opportunity for you to do something else. Exactly. Right? Don't cry about the situation, but that's what I've said. Your plan A is, I'm going to find a job. Again, nobody stops you. Do it. The good thing is that your future is secure, because worst come worst, dad joins your dad business. So what is in between that can enable you to reach that platform, do something totally different, or do something big. So thrive for that, look for those things, and those are the opportunity, to be honest with you, that help you. But a lot of students are saying, how can you tell us how to find a job? I mean, I'm not the person who can tell you how to find a job, right? How can I tell you? I mean, it could be possible that tomorrow I have to ask you, can you give me a job? Because you never know, right? You never know. To be honest, I have to be very frank. So, but what I'm saying is, you are an international student, visa problem will happen, everything, worst thing will happen, but trust me, the most important thing is how prepared are you. People right now who are thinking about how to prepare myself once market will open will get benefit. So since you are stuck at home, you have to do nothing. What you can do? Whether you, as I said, there are options nowadays. You can take online MBAs, right? You don't. So let's say, for example, there is a you want to do an MBA from Oxford University, online MBA. You can do any degrees there nowadays. I mean, it's pretty much open. Or you can look for some. You said, maybe I'm not sure about online MBA right now. Let me take a course on in a Coursera on supply chain, and let's see how does it feels. So pay less money, get a feel, get an idea that will convince you to, take the next step. So as I said, keep educating yourself, learn yourself. That's the only thing that you can do. In the meantime, as I said, nobody stops you applying for jobs. Keep doing it. And what are other options? I won't tell you that go for a PhD and things like that, but that could be another option too, always, for anybody. But don't do that out of desperation, because there's nothing else to you to do, because I'm pretty sure, based on who you are, based on what your interest lies in, select those things. And that's the reason I advised you this particular thing. So as I said, the area